Stefon Diggs and his current situation and how it sort of ties into the expectations of what this player will be, should be striving to be, what we expect he will add to this Patriots offense, all being part of the equation with whatever is happening within the walls in Foxborough as it relates to the future of Stefon Diggs. Do you think Diggs should be cut?
Do I think he should be cut?
Yeah, you.
No, I don't.
I do not.
I came to this show yesterday with the opinion, but the knowledge of that it is on the table, that it is being thought of. And it's not just the boat. It's not just the boat. There's some other things that I've heard. That's all. That puts some things in question. Are you all in? Are you all in here? The videos look great of him working out. I've touted the videos. I know you need diva receivers. I say he shouldn't be cut because I think he would help Drake May in this offense and Josh McDaniels, because you would have a true viable guy that would set coverage. Right now, you still don't have a guy that sets coverage. I'm sorry. You can play a base, even defensive, backfield across the spread, however you want to do it. Even if Josh sets it with three guys to one side, there's nobody that has me shaking in my shoes. Diggs, you got to account for. You need players in the huddle to account for. Why do you think the Chiefs are so damn good? Why do you think Miami's good? Miami's got two guys that could set coverage. Sometimes they have three, which is crazy. The Steelers all those years, they had two or three guys that could always set coverage. I don't have that now, but they might with DK, but you got to account for him because of his size. But damn it, we haven't had that guy here. And that's why I got excited with him being here.
Kayshon Boutte said a couple of days ago about Diggs, he hasn't been here much. It's one of his teammates, another one of the guys in the room, a guy who is fighting for a roster spot on this team, who is saying about the star receiver, hasn't been here much. Is that the other thing that might be part of the equation that you're hearing?
I think that is part of it. Yes, I think that is one of the other things. Yes. And remember, Vrabel said this when he got hired. You can't keep all good guys. You need a couple a-holes. But the a-holes that you tolerate are the ones that are around and do what's asked of them. And they still act like an a-hole, but you tolerate him because, hey, guy checks all the boxes. What did he really do? What did he really get guilty of? What did they find? Is there any charges pressed? No, there's no charges pressed here with Diggs. Which makes you think, and I know Breer said this too, that he wouldn't be that shocked if he got released either.
So here's what Breer was saying.
I think we are hearing it from the same people.
Toucher and Hardy talking about the situation and where things stand right now and why Diggs may not have been at that open session earlier this week.
I sort of think all things are on the table, and I think it's really, to me at least, it's going to boil down to what Steph told Vrabel and how believable it was. Because I think it's going to be hard for anybody. The league's going to look into this, and they're going to hit a dead end because they're not going to be able to prove what was in the bag. There's no way for them to prove what was in the bag. So then it's up to the team to make a decision. And if the team wants to recoup any of the guaranteed money, they have to cut him right away. Because you can't hold him on the roster for 2 weeks and then decide, okay, we're done with you then. So my guess would be the reason he wasn't at practice. This is purely a guess. But my guess would be the reason he wasn't at practice the other day might be because Mike told him to stay away. And maybe they're sorting through everything now.
Bert's speculating there. I would go with the more obvious thing, which is the guy hasn't cared to be around that much, and his own teammates said so the other day.
I think the rehab gives him an excuse to be away. Because the doctor is where? And the rehab doctors are where? In Florida. He looks great. It looks like he's in shape. And that's another big, big, big thing. Don't throw up Vrabel. If you were going to sign this guy, and remember, they brought him in. He wasn't signed right away, right?
Right.
Okay. So they brought him in. He looked like he checked the boxes. What took so long to sign him? What's the back and forth? What was the agreements? Because you have a different type of player here than a normal, Mac Hollins type contract. Bringing Mac Hollins in, special team. Helps you out at receiver. This guy's a dynamic number one. He's a productive guy. He produces. I'm not worried about him producing.
No,
if
I'm
he's
not
healthy,
either.
he does. He's one of the top receivers in the league.
If they go to the route of trying to move on from him and recouping the money, I think they will lose. If that gets in front of an arbitration hearing,
whatever.
They lose. They're not going to recoup their money.
I don't even think it would be about the money. It would be about, we don't want him on the team.
So, but just to focus on this point about the money, which is always a significant part of the New England Patriots.
It is.
Let's be honest.
Okay.
The money is always a factor. The one time they just blew it up and said, get out, and knew they were going to lose to some degree was with Antonio Brown.
Yeah, they ate $9 million bucks on that.
Didn't they recoup some of that?
I don't know.
Look that
I thought
up
they
for us,
did.
McCone, if you could. The Patriots had $12 million in a signing bonus. They've paid $4 million of it to this point. They have 2 more payments that are due this year or before the next league year. So there's one in October and there's one next March. Those are the next 2 payments that are due on the $12 million bonus. There is offset language in his deal that if he gets cut and he signs elsewhere and makes money, they are off the hook for some of the money that they owe him. McCone.
You're right, by the way. Antonio
Thank you.
Brown was due $9 million. He wound up with $5 million. They got $4 million back.
Of course, because they chased $4 million on their own stupidity is what they did on that case. I thought they were stupid for bringing that guy in. I don't think they were stupid for bringing this guy in because they are desperate and they need him. And the truth is that they're absent him being showing up on a drug test and having a positive drug test for some sort of recreational drugs. They've got nothing. The league will not discipline him. The team has no grounds to discipline him. He's not in any legal trouble as far as we understand at this point, right?
No, he's not.
There's no evidence of whatever it was, the pink substance in the bag. They can prove nothing happened there. And I would tell you, the biggest issue is the cameras being there, not that this was going on. Because if the activity that was going on that boat is enough for you to lose your job in the NFL, well, there are going to be a lot of guys on the unemployment line tomorrow.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
That, to me, is the thing that has to be considered in this. Yes, the pros of cutting Stefon Diggs are the same pros that always exist when you do this, which is we have a culture of winning. We do not have time for anybody's BS off the field that create a distraction and take away from the football team doing its job and winning games. That's the pro of cutting him. You know what the cons are? The next guy who considers signing with your team says, the hell with that. If my Instagram ass model video ends up on the internet, I'm going to get cut there. Also, that team kind of sucks. What do I need to go there for? I'll go elsewhere. I think that's part of it. It makes it harder to recruit the next guy to be on this team and sign here. When the guy is not facing discipline from the league or any legal trouble and you're cutting guys, I don't know what the justification would be from a legal standpoint. And I think there are other star players in this league will look at it and say, Patriots, you're lucky the guy even wanted to go there. And now you're going to kick him out the door for something that he's not even in any actual trouble for. It's just not a great look.
Yeah, and again, I think it's bigger than the boat. It's bigger than the boat. I think Vrabel answers questions when you talk to him, but you have to read into it. Like he said, we'll coach up the players that are here. That tells you he's not here or he hasn't been here. I think that's a problem.
Do you think they told him to stay away? Do you believe that?
I don't think Breer sits here on this station and says that unless he's somewhat informed with it. If you contact the player and he said, hey, we talked about this, making good choices, that's strike one against you. Why don't you think about what you did? Get your ass worked out. Get your knee right. Think about it. We're going to see you at minicamp. I think you give him off until the 9th, June 9th. Get him in here and see what he looks like. I don't. He's obviously not going out there full speed, but
he's not really doing anything. He's not capable of going out.
I understand that, but it's being in a meeting, sitting in the front, dealing with Josh, asking the questions, leading a group of headless receivers right now that are looking for any form of leadership whatsoever. To where you got Keyshawn Booty telling Kendrick Bourne, stop dancing. You know? Like that was talked about this week. And then Vrabel also said something about Booty. Like, looks like he's finally gotten in shape here once we started the OTAs. So are they looking at guys that are out of shape and not taking some things seriously? Because it feels like, he got on Milt Williams too. Being in shape and working out and being physically fit, I think you're going to get bigger demands from this guy than you've had from the previous one. And if you're breaking the agreements that you had with him, and I think this player is different, that's going to piss Vrabel off, and you know what he's going to do.
So that's it. That's Vrabel's way of getting people in line, just cuts guys? Is that how he's going to do it?
Something. You got to do something or else you look like a fraud.
You're just going to kick him out the
Or you
door?
look like this.
Just going to fire the players that don't listen? Or you got no ability to get the guys in line and get them to buy in?
Isn't that one of his strengths, supposedly?
I thought that was the big
That's
strength
the guy.
here.
He took Baker under his arm, supposedly, when he got
And
here.
if he has to cut Stefon Diggs in June because he didn't like his Instagram video
I don't think
and
it's
he hasn't been at OTAs enough while an injured player, then I've got no faith in him and his ability to get guys to buy in. That's it? You're going to cut the guy 2 months later? I would say, suck it up, Sally. Your team's not good enough. You got to deal with them at least for a year. Get through the year. Find a path forward. Get the player in here and get him back on track. Do your job as a coach. Cut the player for this. They are not good enough to do that anymore. Everybody needs to come to that realization. You're not the 6-time Super Bowl champs anymore with Brady and Belichick. You're a 4-win team twice. Figure it out. It's your problem now, Mike Vrabel. You signed up for this. Figure it out. But this does bring up another major concern about who the Patriots are at this moment in time. And it's not just about Diggs, but it's about the jet ski thing. And Milton Williams, the thing you just mentioned. How are the Patriots viewed by players in this league right now? And how's it impacting what they've got going on?